All right, folks. So today we're going to talk about how to earn points for your informative speech. So the first thing that you need to remember is that you should only be posting the link to your speech. Don't actually post the video or the MP4 or whatever of your speech onto Canvas. You upload that speech to YouTube and provide the link here. So you're going to actually post this at two places, just to remind you. The first place is Informative Speech Part 1. The second space is Informative Speech Part 2. Part 1 is where you can see the rubric and exactly how you're going to earn points. Part 2 is where you're submitting it so that other people in the class can view it and so that you can get and give feedback. So let's go ahead and talk about how to earn points for the speech itself. So I have it broken down based off of part of the speech. So introduction, body, and conclusion, and then a few final things. So the first area where you're going to be assessed is for your introduction. The first part being your attention getter. An effective attention getter earns you 0.5 points. To move into ineffective, you would start your speech with something other than your attention getter. It could just kind of fall flat, which I'm checking for in your outlines. Or it could be where you say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm going to talk about so-and-so." If you move into the ineffective range, or if it is out of order, meaning your attention getter comes after your thesis statement or something else, then you will earn 0.25 points. And if you don't even attempt, or I can't identify an attention getter, you will earn 0 points. The next area is the listener relevance link. So just a reminder, this is where you're literally connecting your topic to your audience. You're connecting, and it needs to be specific to your audience. So it should be your classmates in this specific example. So if you do it in the correct order and you connect your specific topic to your specific audience, then you'll earn the full 0.5 points. But if you move into the area where it's out of order, it's hard to identify, it's unclear, it fell flat, it didn't work, or it doesn't just connect directly to your specific audience, then you'll move to the 0.25 points. And if I can't identify it at all, or you didn't attempt it, which is pretty much the same thing, then you will earn 0 points. Next, speaker credibility statement. Reminder, this is where you're demonstrating why you're an expert on the topic, why your audience should listen to you specifically speak about it. If it's clear, comes in the correct order, you'll earn 0.5 points. If I can't really identify it very easily, or if it's out of order or it just doesn't work, you'll earn 0.25 points. And if you don't try to do it, then you'll earn 0 points. Next, the thesis statement. It should follow the correct format, meaning in the speech I'm going to inform you about, and then insert your nonprofit organization here. If it follows that format and it comes in the correct order, you'll earn 0.5 points. If you have more than 1 to 2 words after I'm going to inform you about, you'll move into the ineffective realm if you don't follow the format, if it's out of order, if it was combined with the preview of main points into the same sentence, then you'll move into partial credit. And if you forget it, you will earn 0 points. For your preview of main points, this should be separate from your thesis statement. It should be very clear. First, I'm going to talk about this. Second, I will talk about this. And third, I will talk about this. That's a really easy format. If you want to use exactly that format, that's completely fine. If you attempt, but you make some of these mistakes, meaning you combined with the thesis statement, you said it out of order, or it was just kind of hard to identify, but I can see that you attempted it, then you'll earn partial credit. And if you forget it as completely, then you'll earn 0 points. That's the introduction part. Now we're moving into the body. So I should be able to clearly identify 3 transition statements, 1 before your first main point, 1 after your first main point, and then 1 after your second main point. And they should be formatted. First, I'm going to talk about this. Then your second transition statement should be something like, now that I've talked about whatever you just talked about in your first main point, I'm going to talk about whatever is in your second main point. So, in other words, your transition statements should review what you've just talked about and preview what you're about to talk about. If I can clearly identify all of your transition statements, you'll earn 1.5 points. If they're hard to identify, or if I can only see 2 of them, you'll earn 1 point. And if I can identify one, but I can't identify others, or they're all hard to identify, but I can see that you attempted it, then you'll earn 0.5 points. And if I can't identify any of them, then you'll earn 0 points. Now let's talk about your main points. They should be logical, and you should cite at least one source each. And if each of your main points have those things, then you'll earn a total of 3 points, or also known as 1 point each. If you have one of the following issues, meaning the main point is hard to follow, the main point doesn't make sense, or you don't cite at least one source, then you'll earn 0.5 points for each of your main points. And if you don't attempt to have a main point, then you'll earn 0 points. That's the body. I kind of went through that very quickly, but that should be pretty intuitive. Next, let's move on to the conclusion. This should feel very similar to your introduction. You should review your main points. And just a reminder, your preview of main points, your transition statements, and your review of main points should utilize the same language. It should sound repetitive. Again, to remind you, this helps your audience remember what you talked about in your speech. So your review of main points should be your preview of main points in past tense. If it's easy to identify, you'll earn 0.5 points. If you attempted it, but you didn't use consistent language with the others, it's hard to identify, you combined the review of main points with the thesis statement, or you said it out of order, you'll earn 0.25 points. And if I can't identify it, you'll earn 0 points. Thesis restatement, same thing as the thesis statement, except in past tense. So in this speech, I informed you about, and then those 1 to 3 words. If you don't follow the format, or if it's out of order, or if there's too many words in the thesis statement, or if it was combined with the review of main points, you'll earn 0.25 points. And if you forget it completely, you'll earn 0.5 points. Let's talk about the clincher. This, like your attention getter, should be something memorable. So your attention getter, you are picking up the mic with fierceness. Your clincher, you are slamming that mic down. You're dropping that mic and walking away with power. If you end it with "that's it" or "thank you for watching," you are you're weakening your clincher. So you want to make sure that the last word that you say has impact. Now, if you attempt it, but it's ineffective, it could be because it wasn't the last thing that you said, it was in the incorrect order, or it just didn't keep us thinking about your topic, or you said something else after you said your clincher. Those could all be reasons why you would earn partial credit. And if you don't attempt it, you'll earn 0 points. Next, let's talk about your notes. You should use no more than the front and back of one 4x6 index card or equivalent. So that means that you need to show it on your video, either at the beginning or at the end. If you use more than that, or you use like more than one index card, if you use a larger piece of paper than that, then you'll earn partial credit. If you use more than 2 index cards or more than one piece of paper, or you're reading something off of the camera, and yes, I can very clearly tell if you're reading something off of the camera, then you'll earn 0 points. Your time frame is 5 to 7 minutes with a 5-second grace period. If you're 5 to 30 seconds less or more than that 5 to 7 minute time frame, then you'll earn 0.5 points. And if you are more than 30 seconds over or under the 5 to 7 minute time frame, you'll earn 0 points. This is really important. If you are under time, you're not really being respectful of the nonprofit organization that you're representing. You're not doing your due diligence to represent them and to inform your audience about them, sharing all of the important information. If you're spending more time than the 7 minutes, then you're not being respectful to me as your instructor. You're not being respectful of my time because I have to watch all these. And you're not being respectful to your classmates because their time is really precious as well. And so you want to make sure that you fall within that 5 to 7 minute time frame. It's part of being an ethical and respectful public speaker to follow timeframes that you've been given. As you have questions about how to earn points, feel free to ask, but that's the main idea of how you earn points in this class for the informative speeches.